Have you ever let one toxic comment, one rude gesture, or one frustrating moment ruin your entire day? Picture this. You're calm, centered, and completely unshaken. No matter what anyone throws your way. Sounds impossible, it's not. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, believed that true emotional freedom comes from mastering your inner world, not letting others control it. In this video, we're diving into Carl Jung's timeless wisdom to reveal 6 transformative lessons that will help you stay calm, confident, and in control. Even in the most infuriating situations, you'll learn how to face your shadow to tame anger, set boundaries to protect your peace, and let go of what holds you back. All grounded in Carl Jung's psychology of self-discovery. By the end, you'll have practical tools to stop reacting impulsively and start living with unshakable inner strength, ready to unlock the secret to never being bothered again. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's embark on this journey to emotional freedom together. Stay with us. This is going to change the way you see yourself and the world. What if the anger you feel isn't really about the rude coworker, the impatient driver, or that snarky comment online? What if it's about something deeper, something inside you? Carl Jung, the pioneer of analytical psychology, taught us that our strongest emotions, like anger, often spring from what he called the shadow, the hidden part of ourselves we don't want to face. The shadow holds our suppressed feelings, insecurities, and unresolved wounds. When someone triggers us, it's not just their words or actions, it's our shadow reacting. In this chapter, we'll explore how facing your shadow can help you tame anger and reclaim your emotional freedom. Let's start with a story. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old marketing manager who's passionate about her work. One day, during a team meeting, her colleague Tom interrupts her presentation with a dismissive remark. "That idea's been done before." "Sarah, let's move on." The room goes quiet. Sarah feels her face flush, her heart race, and a wave of anger surges inside her. She wants to snap back, to defend her idea, to prove Tom wrong. But instead of reacting, she pauses. Why does this hurt so much? Why is Tom's comment making her feel small? That's when Sarah realizes it's not just about Tom. It's about her shadow, the part of her that fears being overlooked, the part that ties her worth to others' approval. Carl Jung believed that our shadow isn't just a problem, it's a teacher. The anger we feel when triggered often points to something we've buried: an insecurity, a past hurt, or a belief we haven't examined. When we ignore the shadow, it controls us, turning small slights into emotional explosions. But when we face it, we take back our power. For Sarah, facing her shadow meant asking herself, why does Tom's dismissal hit me so hard? Through reflection, she uncovered a deeper fear, the worry that her ideas, and by extension, her worth, weren't good enough. By acknowledging this, she didn't just diffuse her anger toward Tom. She started healing a part of herself she'd ignored for years. So, how can you face your shadow to tame anger? It starts with self-awareness. Carl Jung called this process making the unconscious conscious. When someone or something triggers you, it's like a spotlight shining on your shadow. Instead of lashing out or bottling it up, pause and look inward. What's really going on? Is this anger about the situation? Or is it tied to something deeper, a fear, a memory, or an unmet need? This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about understanding yourself. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Let's break this down with a practical example. Imagine you're driving to work, and someone cuts you off in traffic. Your first instinct is to honk, yell, or let the frustration ruin your morning. But what if you paused and asked, what's this anger really about? Maybe it's not just the driver. Maybe it's the stress of a looming deadline, or a deeper fear of not being in control. By naming the emotion and digging into its roots, you weaken its grip. You're not suppressing your anger, you're understanding it, which is the first step to mastering it. Here's a simple technique to start facing your shadow, the shadow journal. The next time you feel angry or triggered, grab a notebook or your phone and write down 3 things. What happened? Describe the situation briefly. Who or what triggered you? What am I feeling? Name the emotion. Anger, hurt, embarrassment, and rate its intensity from 1 to 10. What's beneath it? Ask yourself, what does this remind me of? Is there a deeper fear or belief at play? Be honest, even if it's uncomfortable. For example, Sarah used this technique after her meeting with Tom. She wrote, "Tom dismissed my idea. I felt angry and humiliated." An 8/10. Beneath it, "I'm afraid I'm not good enough." And his comment reminded me of being ignored as a kid. By naming these feelings, Sarah saw her anger for what it was, a signal from her shadow, not a reflection of her worth. This gave her the clarity to respond calmly in the meeting, addressing Tom's critique without letting it derail her. Facing your shadow isn't easy. It requires courage to look at the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. But here's the payoff every time you do. You weaken the triggers that control you. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with intention. As Carl Jung put it, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." The rude coworker, the impatient driver, the snarky comment, they lose their power when you understand that your anger is a doorway to self-discovery. So, the next time you feel that heat rising, don't push it away or let it consume you. Pause it. Ask yourself, what's my shadow trying to teach me? By facing it, you're not just taming anger, you're unlocking a deeper connection to yourself. And that's where true emotional freedom begins. Stick with us for Chapter 2, where we'll explore how to choose your response instead of letting others write your story. What's one trigger you've noticed lately? Drop it in the comments below. We're all on this journey together. Have you ever felt your blood boil because of something someone said or did, only to realize later you could have handled it differently? Here's a powerful truth. Carl Jung's psychology reveals between every trigger and your reaction, there's a space, a moment, where you have the power to choose. That space is your freedom. Too often, we let other people's words or actions write the story of how we feel. But what if you could take back the pen? In this chapter, we'll explore how to use that space to choose your response. Not let someone else's narrative control your emotions. Carl Jung's work teaches us that our reactions are shaped by our inner world, our unconscious beliefs, fears, and desires. When someone pushes your buttons, it's tempting to think they made you angry. But Carl Jung would argue they're just the spark. The fire comes from within. The good news, you can choose how that fire burns, or if it burns at all. By stepping into that space between stimulus and response, you can align your actions with your values, not someone else's story. Let's dive into a real-life example. Meet John, a 28-year-old graphic designer who's always been close with his childhood friend, Mike. One evening, over drinks, Mike makes a cutting remark. "You're still doing those artsy projects. When are you going to get a real job?" John feels a surge of anger and betrayal. His first instinct is to fire back, to defend his career and passion. But instead, he takes a deep breath and pauses. In that moment, he asks himself, "Why is this hitting me so hard? Is this about Mike? or something deeper. John realizes Mike's comment isn't about his work, it's about Mike's own insecurities, about his corporate job. By choosing not to react, John avoids a pointless argument and keeps his peace. This idea of a space isn't new. Carl Jung drew inspiration from thinkers like Viktor Frankl, who famously said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." For Carl Jung, this space is where self-awareness meets action. It's where you decide whether to let someone's negativity pull you into their narrative or to stay grounded in your own truth. So, how do you master this space in your daily life? It starts with a simple, powerful technique: the 3-second pause. The next time you feel triggered, whether it's a rude comment, a dismissive gesture, or an unfair critique, try this. Pause, stop for 3 seconds. Take a slow, deep breath to interrupt the automatic reaction cycle. Reflect. Ask yourself, what's really going on here? Is this about them? Or is it touching something in me? This connects you to your inner world. As Carl Jung would encourage, choose. Decide how you want to respond based on your values, not the heat of the moment. Do you want to escalate, walk away, or respond calmly? Let's see this in action. Imagine you're at a family dinner and your uncle makes a snide remark about your lifestyle choices. You're always traveling, don't you? Ever want to settle down? Your instinct might be to argue or feel judged, but try the 3-second pause. Breathe. Reflect. Is this about my life? Or is my uncle projecting his own regrets? Then choose. Maybe you say, "I love exploring new places. It's what fuels me." And shift the conversation. Or maybe you just smile and let it go. Either way, you're in control, not your uncle's narrative. This technique isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about giving yourself the space to feel, understand, and then act intentionally. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, becoming your true self, relies on this kind of conscious choice. When you react impulsively, you're letting someone else's story dictate your emotions. But when you pause and choose, you're writing your own. Here's another example to bring it home. Lisa, a high school teacher, gets an email from a parent accusing her of being too harsh with their child. Her first reaction is defensiveness. She works hard to be fair, but she uses the 3-second pause. She breathes, reflects, and realizes the parent's anger might stem from their own stress, not her teaching. Instead of firing off a defensive reply, she responds calmly, "I appreciate your feedback. Let's discuss how we can support your child together." This not only diffuses the tension but also keeps Lisa grounded in her values as an educator. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. You don't need to be a Zen master or a Jungian scholar to do this. You just need 3 seconds and the courage to choose your response. Over time, this practice rewires how you handle triggers. The rude coworker, the judgmental friend, the stranger who cuts you off, they stop having power over you. As Carl Jung might say, you're no longer a puppet of your unconscious reactions, you're the one pulling the strings. So, the next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, remember, you have a choice. Pause, reflect, choose. That's where your power lies. Stay with us for Chapter 3, where we'll dive into setting boundaries to protect your inner peace. What's one moment where you could have used the 3-second pause? Share it in the comments. We're all learning together. Do you ever feel drained by other people's demands? Like you're constantly saying yes when you want to say no? Carl Jung taught us that true inner peace comes from a process called individuation, becoming your authentic self by honoring your needs and values. A critical part of this journey is setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting your energy so you can show up as your best self. In this chapter, we'll explore how setting clear, intentional boundaries can shield your peace from external chaos and help you stay unbothered, no matter what others throw your way. Carl Jung believed that to become whole, we must differentiate ourselves from the expectations and influences of others. Without boundaries, you risk losing yourself to their demands, moods, or negativity. Think of boundaries as a fence around your inner garden. They don't block out the sunlight, but they keep out what doesn't belong. When you set boundaries, you're telling the world, my peace matters, and I'm choosing to protect it. This isn't selfish. It's essential for living a life aligned with your true self. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Mia, a 35-year-old single mother and small business owner. Mia's friends often call her late at night, venting about their problems or asking for favors. She loves being there for them, but these calls leave her exhausted, cutting into her sleep and time with her daughter. One evening, her friend Lisa calls at 10 p.m., upset about a work issue. Mia feels the familiar tug of obligation but pauses. She realizes she's been saying yes to everyone else at the expense of her own energy. Instead of picking up, she texts back, I care about you, Lisa, but I need to keep evenings for my family. Can we talk tomorrow? Lisa understands, and Mia feels a weight lift. She's protected her peace without losing a friendship. This is what Carl Jung's individuation looks like in action, choosing yourself without guilt. Boundaries don't mean you stop caring about others. They mean you care enough about yourself to show up fully for the relationships and responsibilities that matter most. Without them, you're like a house with no doors open to every intrusion, unable to rest. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Boundaries are how you claim that privilege. So, how do you start setting boundaries to protect your inner peace? It's not about building walls or being confrontational. It's about clear, kind communication rooted in self-respect. Here's a practical technique: the boundary blueprint. Follow these 3 steps the next time you feel overwhelmed by someone's demands. Identify your limit. Ask yourself, what's draining me right now? What do I need to protect my energy? Be specific. Maybe it's saying no to last-minute requests or limiting time with a negative person. Communicate. Clearly use I statements to express your boundary without blaming others. For example, I need some quiet time after work to recharge, so I can't take calls in the evening. Uphold consistently. Stick to your boundary, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Consistency shows others you're serious and helps you build confidence. Let's see this in another scenario. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague keeps dumping extra tasks on you, assuming you'll pick up the slack. You're frustrated but don't want to seem uncooperative. Using the boundary blueprint, you first identify your limit. I can't keep taking on extra work without sacrificing my own priorities. Then, you communicate clearly. I'm happy to help when I can, but I need to focus on my current projects this week. Finally, you uphold it by politely declining future requests that overstep. This doesn't just protect your time, it signals to others that your energy is valuable. Setting boundaries can feel daunting, especially if you're used to pleasing others. You might worry about seeming selfish or hurting feelings. But here's the truth. People respect you more when you respect yourself, and those who don't, their reaction says more about them than you. Carl Jung's individuation reminds us that your peace is sacred. It's the foundation of your growth. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, no person is free who is not master of themselves. Boundaries are how you claim that mastery. Let's look at one more example. David, a college student, struggles with a roommate who constantly borrows his things without asking. Instead of stewing in resentment, David uses the boundary blueprint. He identifies his limit. I need my personal items to be respected. He communicates clearly. Hey, I'm cool with sharing, but please ask me first so I can keep track of my stuff. When his roommate forgets, David gently reminds him, reinforcing the boundary. Over time, his roommate adjusts, and David feels more in control of his space and emotions. The power of boundaries lies in their ability to free you from resentment and burnout. They let you say yes to what aligns with your values and no to what doesn't without guilt. By setting boundaries, you're not just protecting your peace, you're honoring the unique self Carl Jung believed you were meant to become. So, the next time you feel pulled in every direction, pause and ask, what boundary do I need to set to protect my peace? Try the boundary blueprint and watch how it transforms your relationships and your sense of self. Stay with us for Chapter 4, where we'll explore how to reframe criticism as a tool for growth. What's one boundary you're ready to set this week? Share it in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to protect our peace. Has a harsh critique ever left you feeling defensive, angry, or even worthless? It's natural to bristle when someone points out your flaws. But what if criticism wasn't an attack, but a mirror reflecting parts of yourself you haven't fully explored? Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that criticism, when approached with curiosity, can become a powerful tool for growth. Through the lens of Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves, we often deny criticism can reveal truths that guide us toward individuation, the process of becoming our true selves. In this chapter, we'll explore how to reframe criticism to tame your emotional triggers and unlock deeper self-awareness. Carl Jung believed that our reactions to criticism often stem from our shadow, the unacknowledged fears, insecurities, or traits we push away. When someone criticizes you, it's like they're holding up a mirror to a part of your shadow you haven't faced. The sting you feel isn't just about their words. It's about what those words touch inside you. By reframing criticism as a chance to explore your shadow, you transform it from a source of anger into a stepping stone for personal growth. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Alex, a 30-year-old software developer who's poured his heart into a new project at work. During a review, his manager says, "This code is sloppy. Alex, you need to step up your game." Alex feels a wave of anger and embarrassment. His first instinct is to argue or sulk, thinking, "How dare she call my work sloppy?" But instead, he pauses and reflects through Carl Jung's lens. Why does this criticism hurt so much? Is there truth in it? Digging deeper, Alex realizes the comment stings because it echoes a fear in his shadow, the worry that he's not as competent as he wants to be. Instead of lashing out, he asks his manager for specific feedback, uses it to improve his code, and feels more confident in his skills. By facing his shadow, Alex turns criticism into growth. This approach aligns with Carl Jung's idea that everything we encounter, even negativity, can serve our journey toward wholeness. Criticism doesn't define your worth. It's an invitation to look within. As Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The key is to separate the emotion of criticism from the lesson it might hold. Not all criticism is valid, but even poorly delivered feedback can reveal something valuable if you're willing to look. So, how can you reframe criticism through Carl Jung's lens? Try this practical technique, the criticism filter. The next time you receive feedback that stings, follow these 3 steps. Pause and breathe. When criticism hits, take a deep breath to avoid reacting impulsively. This creates space to process the feedback calmly. Separate fact from opinion. Ask yourself, Is there any truth in this critique? Or is it just their perspective? Break the feedback into parts: what's factual, what's subjective, and what's emotional. Explore your shadow. Reflect on why the criticism bothers you. Does it touch a hidden insecurity or fear? Journaling can help write down, what does this feedback remind me of? Is my reaction about them or me? Let's see this in action. Imagine you're at a family gathering, and your aunt says, "You're always so busy with work. You never have time for family." Your instinct might be to snap back or feel guilty, but apply the criticism filter. Pause and breathe. Separate fact from opinion. It's true, I've been busy, but her tone feels judgmental. Then explore your shadow. Why does this hurt? Am I afraid I'm failing as a family member? By reflecting, you might realize her comment touched a deeper guilt about balancing work and family. Instead of arguing, you could respond, "I hear you, Aunt Linda. I'm working on finding more balance." This keeps the peace and helps you grow. Here's another example. Sarah, a freelance writer, submits an article to a client who responds, "This isn't what I expected. It lacks depth." Sarah feels crushed, but uses the criticism filter. She pauses, separates the fact the article didn't meet expectations from the opinion, lacking depth is subjective, and reflects on her shadow. "This stings because I fear I'm not good enough as a writer." She asks the client for specific feedback, revises the article, and realizes her initial draft was rushed. The criticism, though harsh, helps her improve her craft and confidence. Reframing criticism isn't about ignoring your feelings or accepting every critique as truth. It's about using Carl Jung's wisdom to see feedback as a tool for self-discovery. Some criticism will be unfair or malicious. Let that go. But when there's a grain of truth, it's a chance to grow stronger. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By viewing criticism through Carl Jung's lens, you stop letting it trigger anger or self-doubt. Instead, you use it to shine a light on your shadow. Moving closer to the authentic self Carl Jung believed you were meant to become. So, the next time criticism stings, pause and ask, what can this teach me about myself? Use the criticism filter to turn feedback into fuel for growth. Stay with us for Chapter 5, where we'll dive into letting go to liberate your soul. Have you ever held onto anger or resentment so tightly that it felt like a weight dragging you down? Maybe it's a grudge against someone who wronged you, a regret you can't shake, or a moment of frustration you keep replaying. Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that letting go isn't just about releasing the past. It's a vital step in individuation, the journey to becoming your true, authentic self. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you free your soul from emotional burdens and reclaim the peace others can't take away. In this chapter, we'll explore how to master the art of letting go, to liberate your soul and stay unbothered by anyone. Carl Jung believed that holding on to anger or resentment keeps us tethered to our shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we haven't fully integrated. These emotions act like chains, binding us to moments or people we can't control. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring what happened or excusing someone's behavior. It means choosing to release the emotional grip it has on you. As Carl Jung put it, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." By letting go, you're not giving up. You're choosing freedom over suffering. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Emma, a 29-year-old graphic artist who was betrayed by her best friend, Claire. 2 years ago, Claire spread rumors about Emma at work, costing her a promotion. For months, Emma replayed the betrayal, imagining confrontations or revenge. The anger consumed her. affecting her creativity and joy. One day, inspired by Carl Jung's teachings, Emma decided to face her shadow and let go. She realized her resentment wasn't hurting Claire, it was hurting her. Using a visualization technique, Emma imagined her anger as a heavy stone she was carrying. She pictured setting it down and walking away. That act of letting go didn't erase the betrayal, but it freed Emma to focus on her art and rebuild her confidence. Letting go is powerful because it shifts your energy from the past to the present. Carl Jung's concept of individuation emphasizes living in alignment with your true self, and you can't do that if you're anchored to old wounds. As the Buddhist saying goes, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When you let go, you're not forgiving for their sake. You're freeing yourself for yours. So, how can you practice letting go to liberate your soul? Here's a practical technique: the release ritual. The next time you feel weighed down by anger, resentment, or regret, try these 3 steps. Acknowledge the emotion. Name what you're feeling without judgment. Write it down: I'm angry because, or I'm hurt because. This brings the emotion out of your shadow and into your awareness. Visualize letting go. Close your eyes and picture the emotion as an object: a stone, a balloon, or a burning coal. Imagine releasing it, letting it float away or dissolve. This taps into Carl Jung's use of active imagination to process unconscious feelings. Refocus on the present. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to honor my true self? Shift your energy to something that aligns with your values, like creating, connecting, or resting. Let's see this in action. Imagine you're upset because a co-worker took credit for your idea during a meeting. You feel cheated and keep replaying the moment. Instead of stewing, try the release ritual. Acknowledge I'm angry because they stole my idea. Visualize. Picture your anger as a balloon tied to your wrist. Imagine cutting the string and watching it float away. Refocus. Decide to share your next idea directly with your boss, or focus on a new project that excites you. This doesn't undo what happened, but it frees you from letting their actions control your peace. Here's another example. Michael, a college student, was furious after a professor gave him a lower grade than expected, claiming his essay lacked originality. Michael felt unfairly judged and kept obsessing over the comment. Using the release ritual, he wrote, I'm angry because I feel misunderstood. He visualized his anger as a heavy backpack, then pictured setting it down. To refocus, he started working on a new essay, channeling his energy into proving his creativity. Letting go didn't change the grade, but it gave Michael back his confidence and focus. Letting go is a practice, not a one-time event. It takes courage to release what's familiar, even if it's painful. But every time you do, you move closer to the person Carl Jung believed you were meant to be, free from the weight of the past. As the philosopher Lao Tzu said, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. By releasing anger or resentment, you create space for joy, creativity, and peace. So, the next time you feel stuck in anger or regret, pause and ask, what am I holding on to? And what would happen if I let it go? Try the release ritual and watch how it lightens your soul. Stay with us for Chapter 6, where we'll explore how gratitude can transform your mind and keep you grounded. What's one thing you're ready to let go of today? Share it in the comments below. Let's support each other in finding freedom. What if the secret to staying calm in the face of frustration was as simple as shifting your focus? Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting, and anger starts bubbling up. Now, picture turning that moment around by finding something, anything to be grateful for. Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that cultivating gratitude can balance the conscious and unconscious mind, creating a harmony that helps you rise above external triggers. In this final chapter, we'll explore how gratitude can transform your mind, dissolve anger, and keep you grounded, no matter what life throws at you. Carl Jung believed that our emotions, like anger, often arise when our conscious mind is out of sync with our unconscious. When we focus only on what's wrong, on the rude comment, the unfair situation, or the annoying delay, we feed the negative energy in our shadow. Gratitude, however, acts like a bridge, reconnecting us to the present and reminding us of the good that exists even in tough moments. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to see the bigger picture. As Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Gratitude helps you shine a light on your inner world, turning chaos into calm. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet David, a 40-year-old delivery driver who's had a rough day. A customer yelled at him for a late delivery. Traffic was a nightmare, and his phone died, leaving him disconnected. David felt his frustration building, ready to snap. But then he paused and tried something different. He thought, what can I be grateful for right now? He realized he was thankful for his job, which kept his family fed, for the music on the radio, which lifted his mood, and for the fact that tomorrow was a new day. That simple shift didn't erase the day's challenges, but it melted his anger, leaving him calmer and more centered. Gratitude is powerful because it rewires how you see the world. Carl Jung's idea of balancing the conscious and unconscious suggests that focusing on what's positive helps integrate the shadow, reducing the intensity of negative emotions. As the philosopher Cicero said, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. When you practice gratitude, you're not just calming your mind, you're building resilience to face life's ups and downs without being rattled. So, how can you cultivate gratitude to transform your mind? Try this practical technique, the gratitude reset. The next time you feel anger or frustration creeping in, follow these 3 steps. Pause and notice. Stop and name the emotion you're feeling. Acknowledge it without judgment. I'm angry because, or I'm frustrated because. Find 3 things. Identify 3 things you're grateful for in that moment. No matter how small, it could be your health, a kind gesture, or even the fact that you're alive to experience the day. Reframe the moment. Ask yourself, how can I see this situation differently? Use gratitude to shift your perspective, focusing on what's still good rather than what's going wrong. Let's see this in action. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague snaps at you during a stressful project. Can't you do anything right? Your instinct is to fire back or stew in resentment. Instead, try the gratitude reset. Pause and notice I'm angry because they disrespected me. Find 3 things I'm grateful for. My job, for my supportive teammate who helped earlier, and for the coffee that's keeping me going. Reframe. Maybe they're stressed, not attacking me personally. I can choose to stay calm and focus on my work. This shift doesn't excuse their behavior, but it keeps your peace intact. Here's another example. Maria, a nurse, was exhausted after a long shift when a patient complained loudly about a minor delay. She felt unappreciated and angry. Using the gratitude reset, she paused. I'm frustrated because I'm trying my best. She found 3 things I'm grateful for: my skills, for the patients I helped today, and for my supportive co-workers. Reframing the moment, she thought, this patient's upset, but I know I'm making a difference. Her anger faldet, and she finished her shift with renewed purpose. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what uplifts you, even in the messiest moments. Carl Jung's teachings remind us that true transformation comes from integrating all parts of ourselves, light and shadow. By practicing gratitude, you're not just dissolving anger, you're creating a mindset that's unshakable. As the Buddha said, "Let us rise up and be thankful. For if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little." So, the next time you feel anger taking over, pause and ask, what can I be grateful for right now? Try the gratitude reset and watch how it transforms your perspective. You'll find that peace isn't something you chase, it's something you create. Stay with us for our powerful outro, where we'll wrap up this journey to emotional freedom. What's one thing you're grateful for today? Share it in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to transform our minds. You've just taken a powerful journey through Carl Jung's wisdom to master your emotions and reclaim your inner peace. From facing your shadow to taming anger, setting boundaries to protect your energy, reframing criticism as a tool for growth, letting go of what weighs you down, to cultivating gratitude to transform your mind, this is more than just a guide to staying unbothered. It's a roadmap to individuation. Carl Jung's vision of becoming the truest, most authentic version of yourself. Every step you take to pause, reflect, and choose. Your response is a step toward a life where no one else can steal your peace. Think about it: the rude coworker, the judgmental friend, the frustrating stranger, they don't hold the keys to your emotions. You do. Carl Jung taught us that true freedom comes from within, from understanding and integrating every part of ourselves, light and shadow, strength and vulnerability. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you're not just surviving life's challenges, you're thriving through them. You're writing your own story, one where you're unshakable, centered, and free. So, what's next? Take these lessons into your life. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, pause and ask, what's my shadow teaching me? How can I choose my response? Use the tools we've shared: the shadow journal, the 3-second pause, the boundary blueprint, the criticism filter, the release ritual, and the gratitude reset, to build a life where your peace is untouchable. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. This is your moment to claim that privilege. Now, let's make this a movement. If Carl Jung's wisdom has inspired you to take control of your emotions, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to join the Jung Psyche Hub community. We're here to dive deeper into the psychology of self-discovery, and we don't want you to miss a single insight. Share this video with someone who needs a little extra peace in their life: a friend, a family member, or even a coworker who could use a nudge toward emotional freedom. Like this video to help spread Carl Jung's timeless wisdom to more people. And most importantly, drop a comment below. What's one trigger you're ready to let go of today? Or one moment where you chose peace over anger? Your story could inspire someone else on this journey. Thank you for joining us on this transformative path. Your emotions don't control you, you control them. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep exploring your inner world. And keep choosing peace. This is just the beginning. Until next time, stay grounded, stay authentic, and stay unbothered.